Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter, it only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Grand Rising. Today is a new day to start again. It is 6/13/2025. Sassy is talking up a storm out here. It's Friday the 13th. So let's settle in. Today is just another day. This game is just another game. It's just game 4 of the NBA championship, and the Pacers have the first time opportunity to win a championship that hasn't been done in at least the 30 years that I've been watching. They had an ABA team. So if you want to take the history back before the NBA or in conjunction with the NBA, there was another team called, or a league called the ABA, which is all very interesting as well. But the Pacers were very good in the early stages of that ABA whole thing. So maybe there is a reasoning why. Maybe for some reason the NBA has never really liked the Indiana Pacers because they were part of the ABA. But anyways, we have the opportunity finally to win an NBA championship after a long, long time. And we have the makings of a team that could be there for a long time. So, but it's just another game. It's how you're supposed to treat it. Like Friday the 13th seems to be very auspicious. I do not pay attention to what is going on outside of my little realm, my little world. And it's not that influential. I have a very non-influential, non-essential job. And that's what I do for most of my work week. And then in my spare time, I am pretty secluded. I do get out some, but I'm very poor. So I really don't spend much time out because I don't have money to spend time out, is the biggest reason. And I've really started to try to save my acorns. Not to mention, I don't drink alcohol. That's one thing I can kind of hang my hat on over the last 6 years, is I was what most would classify as an alcoholic, and I quit drinking alcohol. And I've done that a few different times in my life, but this last recent time, that and tobacco cigarettes, like the corporate Marlboros, I smoked those a pack and a half a day. I actually got into menthols, which were horrible for me. And so about 6.5 years ago, we're approaching 7 years ago, I cold turkeyed both alcohol and cigarettes. And that did make a pretty big impact on, I probably would not be in the position I am right now if I had not done that. But, that you would think would make me financially better off because it's a lot of money to pay, and alcohol costs money and cigarettes cost money. But you find ways to spend money, it seems, in life. I'm also a divorced dad, so I wanted to get into, so I actually had it to where, so what I do is I write out these pages. If you've never watched any of these videos before, this is basically a daily account of my life. I decided to start doing this. In the beginning, what I wanted to do was do these short videos. I initially wanted to just basically give a glimpse of a guy that was looking into the Tao Te Ching at the time. That was the core of what I was trying to talk about. It was something that really resonated with me, and I get into that through the script. But essentially what started happening was I started waking up at about 2 o'clock in the morning every day about 7 or 8 years ago after my divorce. I mean, this was, but I think I've probably been doing this for longer. I just don't really remember it as well. But it became a thing after I was by myself, because I really didn't, when I didn't have my children with me, there was no one there. So I could really take any kind of sleep cycle that I wanted. And so in the initial stages of it, when I realized that this is just a thing, I'm going to be waking up at 2 a.m., I'd try to roll around for a long time thinking about stress of things that I'm supposed to do. And I've really just it was depressing me because I was tired and I was rolling around in bed, not being able to sleep. So finally, I just decided, well, if I'm waking up, I'm just going to get up. And in the early stages of it, was just relaxing and enjoying time. But as I got up earlier and earlier and gained more and more energy from some of the things that I was doing at the early stages of the mornings, I started doing things that were productive just because you get kind of bored sitting around there. So that's kind of how my life has been developed over the last 7 years, is me figuring out ways to utilize time at 2 o'clock. They call it the witching hour. And I'm not trying to claim that I'm being called, but this is what I feel called that I should do. Is after I started using it, and I'm like, well, what should I do with this time? And I thought, well, maybe I should just document what I'm saying. Not that I'm very special, but we all are special in our own way. And I'm giving a glimpse to what brought me to. I am getting to where I'm much more content with my status in my life and in trying to enjoy my moments. And I think if I can learn how to bring that to other people, it's very stabilizing. And we need stabilization. So I'm grounded, and I think I can help in that regard. So I have been very tired recently, though, because I really just am not gaining much financial, and I'm under stress as far as not being able to follow through with some things that I would like. I would like to be more readily available and have more influence on my daughter's lives, and I'm just obscure right now. So when I come home from work, I'm tired because I had a day at work where I didn't make any money. I'm not really progressing towards making money, but I am securing myself, and I don't have as much stress of having to worry about losing my job, other than maybe we can just lose it because it's just not productive. Um, but when I get home, the stress of me just trying to stay in a good attitude, and I am doing work while I'm there. I'm trying to do my best to not um, self promote or put myself into a position where uh, I'm asking for more than I'm being asked to do. So, what I'm just trying to do is what I'm asked to do. But it has been very slow, and I know I need to make changes. So, what should I do? Let's say my goal is to make myself, if you've watched any of these previous videos, I'm a single man that's been single really most of my life. I was married for 9 years, and during that time, I lived a married life, and I actually enjoyed being a husband and a father, even though I apparently didn't do it very well. I did enjoy a lot of the structure of that. So whenever I was let loose, I lost my mother and my father in the process of all of that. And so I really didn't have anyone to turn to, and I didn't have most of my support system really has relocated. So in essence, I had to deal with a lot of things on my own, and I had a lot of failures, and there were a lot of narratives about how I handled things. Um, but so I've been transitioning and just trying to get myself stable because I've had a lot of financial issues where I really was brought down to my knees and needed a helping hand. Quite frankly, is where I was at. I needed help and I was asking for help, but most of it was surrounding around my mental health, and part of what my quest was in contradiction to the mental health industry, if you will. Like one of my biggest issues with our society is the things that have been caused by social sciences, because social sciences is a misnomer on its own. There's no such thing as if you want to define science, you really have to define it. These words we have and I get really deep into etymology and how these blanket terminologies become umbrellas. But I don't try to go too far off track, because most people think when I start to get into conjecture like that I'm basically dancing into word salad, is what a lot of people will call it. But it's simply because I'm trying to understand what is truly being orchestrated. And most people don't even think there's orchestration. Or not most people, but I think that the largest portion of our society, at least where I'm at on a day-to-day basis, there's much more skepticism than there once was. But at the same time, I think there's hopelessness that anything can actually be done, because our answers come from, that's what's so funny about this. The federal Marines are coming in to help with deportation issues in California. And the side that should be fighting for individual province is actually advocating for top hierarchical dominance. It's very interesting, but I don't know. Most people probably won't even understand what I just said, so I'm just going to keep myself, not that I'm talking over people's heads. It's not what I'm trying to say. So let's say my personal goal, because I can have nothing to do with that. My personal goal is to make myself worthy of this girl I've been talking about, which I'm timid to even talk to because I'm a leaky vessel, is what I explained in my last video. So next time that I'm caught in a situation with, not her, just a woman where I want to be worthy, by that time, I can basically have more of a footing to stand and say, would you like to join me for a cup of tea on my boat? And I don't own a boat. Let's say I had a boat, though. Would I like myself? I don't know. It depends how big the boat was and how much I was giving back, I guess. Ahoy, matey! Judge Smales in the movie Caddyshack, he thought in that movie, the judge, he thought that he was a good man. That's part of the comedy of it. I've sent boys younger than you to the gas chamber. I didn't want to do it, but I owed it to them, was kind of his line. California, ice, there's just symmetry there. The land of the gold. I want none of it. You keep it. I don't want any part of it. I can't even listen to the first sentence of anybody trying to explain it to me. If you are blue or you are red, I'm out. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I won't do it. How can I sing a song that everyone can hear? Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter, it only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Is that annoying? I think it probably is to a lot of people. But I think that song, I'm telling you, that's my best thing I got going. And then only 2 or 3 people watch these videos. But I sing it every day for myself, first of all. How do I show the way to people? That's the best thing I can do, is just keep singing my song, I guess. I got a thing on my lip. It's bothering me. It's not a thing. It's just very minor. It's just a little piece of skin. But I don't know why it happened. Anyways, what my big thing is recently is the intent of your attention. So let me get a sip of coffee and dive into this for a second. I'm going to do some hypnosis on you. I really don't know how hypnosis works. I think it has to do with methodic sound. How do I show the way to people? What is the intent of your attention? Why are you watching me right now? What is your intent? Did you stumble upon my video? Were you looking for me? Why are you still watching this? Do you know me personally? Am I famous yet? Is New Day to Start a household name by now? Or is it a figment of my imagination? My imagination. Seriously, ask yourself, why am I watching this? How far are we in? We're 14 minutes, 15 minutes, and you've probably watched more of these videos. What could you possibly be learning from this guy? Here is why I, New Day to Start, at this moment that I'm sharing with you, am doing this video. I kind of explained this earlier. Every day for the last 7 years, maybe, I've been waking up about 2 a.m. I am a very single, divorced dad. I have 2 cats. I have a lifestyle that allows early mornings and self-time. I found, or was, handed at this time early stages of me waking up early. This is I was trying to figure out the timeline of when I was actually handed the Tao Te Ching. And what I figured out is it's actually after my brother's trip. I thought that I'd found the Tao Te Ching before my brother's trip, but I was already very spiritual, or getting into this flow of, I don't know, I'll have to go back really and look at my journey a little better, because it kind of all became a big collage and I really didn't dissect it. But so the Tao Te Ching has been very influential, because what that did was it helped me find more of a center, something that I could core onto. And before I found the Tao Te Ching, although I was being spiritual, I still was kind of a nihilist. I was still kind of an atheist. At the core of me, I was skepticism. I really was I don't believe it unless I can see it. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in any of that. That's all nonsense for people that really aren't grounded. But I was very skeptical also of the system that was on what we called the ground at that time, because I thought that I was living in a different realm than I think that I'm living in now, so my point of reference has changed. But I've been, so basically and that was really from the result of the Tao Te Ching and getting grounded. So what the Tao Te Ching taught me was about the Tao, which is the way. So the Tao Te Ching is just a writing. It's just a writing. But it was done in a way, it was actually done in a way where it's been translated and used and basically made into a profiteering video, a profiteering idea, where a person named Wayne Dyer had basically spent a lot of time formulating and bringing out to the public what this idea of what Lao Tzu was trying to do, and it's his interpretation, and it's beautiful, honestly. I have some problems with money is my biggest thing, and I think that actually the Tao Te Ching really speaks to that too. But the way that it spoke of and explained the way, the woo-wee, it helped me really find the way, which was what I truly think is the core of humanity. Our responsibility as humanity is to follow the way and its natural law. But there's a lot of the way is through the breath. And I've talked a lot about the Trinity. I think the way is through the breath. So there's 3 basic ways to enlightenment: through the breath, through the blood, and through the oil, is what I would say. And that's kind of what I've cored to. And so I learned enlightenment through the way, woo-wee. So now I've been trying, since I got to the core, I've been also trying to learn a little bit about the blood and the oil. But I am very rudimentary and don't understand it very well yet. What I can tell you is I'm trying to move myself away from anything that's a control-based system that's held above those 3 ideals. It took me a while to understand that our written word, the written word, is a weapon and a tool. And when you start to learn what the Tao Te Ching is trying to explain, what it's saying is it's using this weapon or tool to explain that the word is a weapon or a tool, and it's usually a weapon, because in the polarity of things, an overabundance of anything. So if there's too many words, it's too much. But words can be used and should be used and need to be used. This is the important part. The way is whether you listen or acknowledge or follow or not, whether you write about it or not, it happened. And when you write about it, you're really not writing about it. You're writing a description. So no reward. That's the thing that I really cored in the most from. I have a problem with this reward-based system. And from my psychological background, when you start to learn about Pavlov and all of the impulse triggers into the biological, and that's when I started to really realize that most of what I was being taught was not, I didn't understand it, but I knew that it wasn't right, is what I guess I could say. And I knew that the processing didn't make any sense. The entire idea of I can make a statistic for anything is really what social science is about. It's influence. It's description, but then it's like, I don't want to get into it. So what our system is based on, because of the monetary, because of capitalism, and because of our constitutional democratic republic, because of our Bible, because of words being written, because of church, because of government, this is all structured by words. And it's all based on reward-based system and penalty-based system, heaven or hell. And none of that is actually part of, that's been the crown on top that doesn't have a real base to it. And it's the misconception that holds people away from what is actually the way. So beyond the words or titles, there is the life that you live. And in reality of that life that you live, no horse is better than any other horse. That's what the really ancient teachings teach you, is that the number 1 horse and the number 9 horse are the same in their responsibilities. No castle is, and sometimes the number 1 horse becomes the number 9 horse, and the number 9 horse becomes the number 1 horse, above and beyond any expectations at the current moment. Things change to alter, and sometimes the weak rises. No castle is better than any straw house. So the brick house is not better than the straw house at the core. A fool is so aware that he stands motionless. So a fool, there is a fool archetype, and it's humorous that it has become it's so funny how the connotations of some of these words in ancient understanding of the words, the etymology of them, is they are what you strive for. You strive to be a fool. Some strive to be a joker. Right now, you associate joker with clown. Many do. But it is not. That's been purposely done. Because the joker archetype is what we should strive for as well. The trump card, we should strive for that. But it's been painted in a way that's not true. Some call me the space cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love. Some call me Maurice. But I speak of the pompatus of love. All of the greatness comes from following the great way. Every great leader that's ever been followed the great way. That's how they maintained nobility. The idea that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely is absolutely wrong. And I used to say it all the time. Absolute power is balance. Goofballs. You can see your realm as you see it. My realm, Friday the 13th, June 2025, can be scary. I have no interest in bad luck. I have a black cat, and I'm like, nah, I don't believe in bad luck. I don't believe in bad luck. I have no interest in Jason with a hockey mask on. I never got it. I never understood that. Perhaps I should go back and relook at it. There's probably, in almost all of these really, especially the popularized things, it's like they have a whole hidden agenda, or somebody does. Or at least what I used to say is, I think that the divinity of honoring your mother and your father, or your father and your mother, whichever order you want to honor them, they are the same, really, in the end, I think. You basically, I don't know where I was going with this. Let's just stay where we're at. Maybe I should revisit it, but I know David. That's what I told myself. I have a little thing here that says, no, David. No, I'm a rabbit. I like to look at stuff, and I really don't want to play in that. I don't care about Jason, or I know that people got really into it. What I do have I have a very important memory of, I was basically an atheist as a young boy. And I got invited as an atheist because my parents, I think, knew that I was struggling because I was vocal about it with the whole Bible God thing, church thing. Because my mom got on this idea where she wanted to go to church, and we started to go to church. And I was this 11-year-old, 13-year-old, I don't know how old exactly, coming of age boy. And I'm just like, this is so stupid. I've been through this. You guys baptized me. I got through the whole thing. I woke up the next day and I was like, same day. I don't know what's different about this whole thing. The sacrifice, and I really struggled with the story. It just didn't really line up for me and make much sense, like most of the things that I stumbled across when I was being taught when I was a young boy. So, where was I going with this? I don't even remember. All I can say is, when I found the Tao, I realized that there was something. So where do I want to put my intent? I went from being an atheist. Oh, I wanted to tell the church story, I guess. So because I was this skeptical young man, and my mother did really truly love me, she was trying to help me reach salvation because she believed it to be true, because that's what her dad taught her. So she was trying to help me, and I got sent with one of my friends to this church thing, and I don't know what holiday we were honoring, but we went there, and I was still a very green young boy, and there were girls that were promiscuous there, and I think there was alcohol going on. There was like, I got roped in with not the bad kids, but they had this whole church operation, and I think that there were probably like young adults that were running the chaperoning of it, and we were in this secluded church area, and at the church, what we were doing, it must have been on Halloween, we were watching Halloween movies, and Jason, the Friday the 13th was one of them, but really it was an excuse for us to get the room dark. And then eventually the kids went off to other places to, I assume, have sex in the church. And I was a prune, and I was disapproving of all of this. And I was like, why am I here? This is because I was skeptical, and I was brought there to learn. And it just was so funny. And it brought me, and I was green also. And I don't think any of the girls were really interested in me because I was being pompous, the pompatus of love. I was the pompatus of love. I don't even, did you know, if you look up that song that he, whenever he wrote it, doesn't even know it's a made-up word, Pompatus of Love phrase. It's a made-up phrase. So I am just using it in my own regard. That's what you can do with a lot of words. Where do I put my intent? I am aware that there is something to numbers. Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th. Boy, I have this rock. This helps me talk. I think it's interesting that it was a struggle for me to say the words. Friday the 13th, June 2025. I am aware that there's something to numbers. I need to stay at my core and at home today. I will pray also for my loved ones because I think it's important to do that. I don't really buy into anything. I never have. The millennial 2000, I was a skeptic and I never thought that would be anything. And when we go back and look at numbers and timelines, I know that there's all kinds of synchronicities. I just think that there's a lot of things that just line up, and that's the way that they are. And you can have pattern recognition, and that helps you see things that flow, which is basically what it's doing, is revealing what is already, which is the way, which is always will be, in regardless of how you want to paint it. But I will not engage in fear. I'm not going to put myself into that. I do these videos to bring this back to when I was trying to do my hypnosis at 21 minutes now. Is that, or is it 30? I'm at 31 minutes. Holy cow. Friday the 13th. If you spent this much time listening to I think it could be characterized as hogwash. I do these, and I do enjoy doing these, because at my core, what I'm called to do is to sing my song. I'm not going to sing it again. I've already sang it twice. Every day, to remind myself and anyone who chooses to listen to this long video, this is your new moment today. Regardless of when you watch this video, your new moment is today to do great and be great. Be grateful for what you have, everything that you have, the ability to watch this video, the ability to take all this time to listen to this great wisdom. And the other thing I would say, I used to have this idea for a t-shirt, and one of it was, don't feed. I think what I used to say is, don't feed the trolls, but I think that's a good one, but also don't feed the clowns. Don't feed them. Don't go to the circus. Don't look at it. Don't pay admission. I cannot, should not. I will turn it off. Turn me off after this. Go get life. Go Pacers. I like this sweatshirt. Although I did learn that symbol there, it has to do with something that I probably shouldn't be endorsing. I don't know. I don't know what I believe. I think it's about your intent. So if I don't have knowledge of what that symbol means, then I am not endorsing it. But I am kind of, by wearing it. I could get into so many stories. All right, so let's stay focused. Let's talk a little bit about the Pacers. We got game 4. It's funny whenever you listen to videos and people are talking, it's supposed to be a, what do they call it? I don't even remember. It's a very important game, obviously. The Pacers could basically win the championship tonight if they go out and play hard and play their game. I just don't think anybody would beat them. So as long as they do that, as long as they play their game, they're probably going to be winning the NBA championship. Against all odds, the team of destiny, the small market team, finally wins. I think it's pretty cool. Also, there's the U.S. Open, which falls on Father's Day for Sunday. Why wouldn't they have put I don't understand the scheduling for these NBA finals. It's very strange. It's like they're almost trying to get bad ratings. But Father's Day, Sunday, is going to have the U.S. Open. And there are some big names lurking around that after day one, they're still in it. Even the people that are 3 over, 4 over par are still really in the game. And it's the strongest usually. If I'm going to make a guess and you're trying to use me to make money, don't hold me responsible. But if I had to bet right now, I would bet comfortably on Koepka. I have a feeling that Koepka's just going to come out and take over. That being said, Scotty Scheffler is still not out of this tournament at all. I kind of like Jordan Spieth. I've been calling him from the beginning. So if he's in it, that would be exciting. He hasn't really been in the limelight for a minute. Jon Rahm is a pretty good, strong candidate. DeChambeau is definitely a candidate, and he's impressed me in the past. And he actually, he probably will play very well in the situation, regardless of the weather. If there's anybody that can handle a bunch of different things that you have to look at, it's supposed to be really hard wind. But you have to hit the ball, and they both are going to do it. I don't know. I would say that DeChambeau would be a very strong play. Morikawa, just because he's very versatile and I like his game, but he's been not showing up well the last couple days of majors recently. It's just a matter of whether your timing is right, too. Anyways, I think that's where we're at. I did want to, I guess, say Father's Day weekend. I really have nothing to celebrate other than I'm going to honor my dad. There is, first of all, I have been very vocal on these videos, on social media, about my distaste for holidays. And it's not appropriate for me to like bow-hum around about Father's Day, because I think it is definitely something that is just used to take away from something that is real. But I honestly, and it's divisive, honestly. You see on social media all these ladies out there basically saying, I'm the dad, so I get to be fathers on Father's Day because I'm doing dad's job. That it's really inappropriate. But I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world. I'm wearing a Pacers jersey when I say that that kind of stuff is corporation that I'm putting intent into, which is something that I've been saying that you shouldn't do. But honestly, my dad loved the Pacers, so he loved watching Reggie Miller, and I had a lot of we would watch whole games together. I hear a lot of people say you only have to watch it until the fourth quarter. I disagree. I enjoy watching the game. So I'm just a weird person, though, and that's just the way I've always been, even though I know it's probably rigged. I think it's funny, my grandpa had a little bit of that. He did think, though, that wrestling was real, and he was offended when I said that it wasn't real, when I was trying to explain to him that this isn't real, because it was a big thing during that time that people were saying wrestling's fake. I think it's also because there were things that happened, like there was the Quiz Show 21 or whatever it was called, where there was this big, huge controversy because essentially they were showing that it was fixed. Let me just let you guys know that everything on any of these, except for this whole New Day to Start, this ain't fixed. This is all just me. I wouldn't mess with Koepka. I'd go with Pacers to cover whatever the spread is. I don't know about the over-under. I've not been as good at that, but I think that the Pacers are definitely going to win this game handedly. And I think that they're going to win the championship handedly. If I was going to guess, they will probably win in Game 5. But this may not age well. Who knows? We might just get our face smacked in. I will say that point guard, Shea, I've not seen him play really before these finals. And he does seem to be very possibly one of the best point guards I've ever seen. He is very good. He's going to have the flair of basically every point guard that you could. He's a perfect prototype. For that position. And so he's definitely somebody that's going to be, and he looks like somebody that would stay healthy because he's got a body for it. So I don't know where I'm going with all this. I have went way too long with this video. It's going to take me forever to upload it. But what I'm going to do, it's Friday the 13th. Like I said, I'm going to ground myself, acknowledge that it is Friday the 13th, and that we're in this weird time where I think the Marines are being sent into California. None of that sounds great. Like I said, I've already listened to a taste of it, and I want nothing to do with it. If you want me to push for some kind of cause, it's not going to involve that. But I would encourage everybody to rethink what they're shouting out loud and try to look at the makings of whenever you're going in. It's everything that they said would happen. The federal military is going into enforced deportation against local, and it is probably going to turn into something that, I mean, none of that sounds like that's going to have a good resolution. I don't know how that's going to be a good resolution. So, but I am going to stay where I'm at right now, and I hope for the best for the people out there. I would think that everybody should try to keep their mind calm and try to figure out the best solution out of the situation. You can't just go clean up messes in other people's areas that were dealing with the messes already on their own, and then you just come in and take over. That doesn't make you right because you have power. And the use of that kind of force in any situation is opening the... Do you guys... It's just so sad. It's not the way. It's not the way. Be careful what you're putting your energy and your intent into and behind, because we all have to live together. Have a great day. Do great. Be great. Be grateful. I'm sorry for the long video, but it's Friday the 13th. This is probably better to spend your time doing than looking at anything that has to do with that out there. Have a great day.